The Minnesota Vikings pick at the 14th overall pick this year. And there's a lot of decisions the Vikings have to go here. What is our biggest needs? Well, let's first take a look at our biggest needs so we can kind of narrow down where the Vikings should be looking. Our biggest need, no question about it, is offensive guard. After Dakota Dozier is being a free agent that the Vikings will likely not bring back, please don't bring back Dakota Dozier. Hopefully they don't. We have an opening at left guard. We also have had an opening at right guard the past 2 seasons where Pat Elflein didn't look good, where Drew Samia didn't look good, and now Ezra Cleveland is not looking good. So we have 2 openings at the guard position. And this is the biggest need for the Minnesota Vikings, especially when you have a quarterback like Kirk Cousins who when the pocket closes in on him, cannot make a play. Now, that's like I'm not taking a shot at Kirk Cousins here. I want to clarify. Most quarterbacks can't do that, but there is some out there that can. I mean, look at Deshaun Watson, look at Patrick Mahomes. These are the best of the best. Aaron Rodgers. Kirk is not one of those guys. He is not a top-tier quarterback. He's the tier below that. But once again, he is a pocket passer. You need to invest all you can into that offensive line. So guard is the biggest need for the Minnesota Vikings. And then there's a steep decline. And then we have defensive line, safety, special teams, cornerback, and wide receiver. So basically, the entire defense I just named right there. We have openings at defensive line, the starting positions, openings at safety, special teams, and then depth in the cornerback and wide receiver positions. Now, for the first round, we're talking about the 14th overall pick here. So, of course, we're not going to be looking at special teams because you don't draft special teamers in the first round. That's when you take them in the 6th, 7th round. And then corner and wide receiver, these are just depth pieces I don't think the Vikings will draft in the first round. But let's take a look at some of these pieces that we have to look at because these are players that I would be totally fine with the Vikings taking and would fit very well into this offense. Starting at number 1, we have Quitty Pay. Now, Quitty Pay, he's expected to go in the top 10. Now, there's a possibility that he would fall out of the top 10 and come to around 14. If the 4 quarterbacks go in the top 10, which happens pretty often. I mean, all the good quarterbacks go in the top 10. If this does happen, it's possible Quitty Pay does fall out of the top 10 and maybe to the Vikings at the 14th overall pick. And if they do, this would be huge. Just drafting this player and putting him alongside Danielle Hunter, and then you can rotate in DJ Wanham. You can rotate in Afadio Denebo. Hercules Mataafa. I was about to say Jalen Holmes, but I don't want to see him anymore. Maybe Hercules Mataafa. He's developing himself into a good defensive end. You can rotate in these guys with Quitty Pay, with Danielle Hunter, and I would be very happy for the Vikings to draft this defensive end out of Michigan, who's made a big impact with the team. Anyways, number 2, we have Christian Bourne. Now, this is a player who most mock drafts have the Minnesota Vikings taking, and I would be so down for this. This would be my favorite pick. Not my favorite pick. I mean, other players would make more of an impact on the team. But once again, if the Vikings can get this, because this is a player we have not had in a long time, this 3-tech defensive tackle who can do what you want. And say Danielle Hunter comes back and looks like the Danielle Hunter we used to love and see. Hopefully he does. Please. I hope he does. And then Michael Pierce not opting out of another season. This would be such a good defensive line right here. You would have Danielle Hunter, you would have Christian Bourne, you would have Michael Pierce, great run stopper, and then on the other side you'd probably have DJ Wanham if the Vikings don't draft a defensive end or take someone in free agency, maybe Everson Griffin or JJ Watt there. But this is another pick that Vikings, I would be very happy if the Vikings do get Christian Bourne, a huge part on why Alabama did win the championship this year. And then next we have Rashan Slater. Now, Rashan Slater, he is an offensive tackle out of Northwestern, and although he is an offensive tackle and Vikings need offensive guard, look at him. He is built like an offensive guard. I don't care. The only reason why these guys are offensive tackles is because in college that is in football at all, that is the most important position. So you put your best guy at the offensive tackle position. He is an offensive guard. Whoever drafts him is going to use him as an interior offensive lineman. If the Vikings can get Rashan Slater at the 14th overall pick, he will be an offensive guard. Although that's speculating because there is offensive tackles. It just depends. I mean, I think the Vikings, if they do draft this guy, should use him as a left guard out of college. Now, once again, taking guards in the first round is not the best thing because a lot of good guards in the NFL, starting guards, get drafted in the rounds 3 and 4, and that's where the Vikings can be picking. They have a lot of picks in the 3rd and 4th round where they can get offensive guards, but getting a stud left guard at the 14th overall pick would be huge for the Minnesota Vikings, and drafting Rashan Slater here would be great. Next, we have Caleb Farley. Now, I know I didn't say I was going to talk about cornerbacks here because the Vikings just need depth, but we have to. Because Caleb Farley, he is expected to go in the top 10, and this is because of his positional value, and he is a cornerback out of Virginia Tech. You can see here he's defending KJ Osborne, which is actually Not easy in college, believe it or not. Defending KJ Osborne was not easy. He is really good after the catch. And although he had a bad season with the Minnesota Vikings, he wasn't used very much in the pass game. They used him as a kick and punt returner, which I get that's why the Minnesota Vikings drafted him, but he wasn't used very much in the pass game, and it's not easy to guard him, and you can see he's doing it in this pick. But once again, Caleb Farley, a lot of Vikings fans out there do not want the Vikings taking a cornerback in the first round again. I mean, we've seen a long history of the Vikings drafting corners in the first round and them not working out. Mike Hughes, Trey Waynes, Xavier Rhodes, Mackenzie Alexander was a second-round draft pick. Jeff Gladney. There's so many picks that were drafted in the first round for the Minnesota Vikings. Okay, I guess Xavier Rhodes and Trey Waynes did kind of work out, but the rest of them not so far. I mean, Jeff Gladney, he was just a rookie. Anyways, though, the Minnesota Vikings, through all of these draft picks, although it didn't work out, you have to keep investing on the cornerback position because it is that important. We are in a pass-heavy league, playing in a division with Allen Robinson and Devontae Adams. You need to invest in those corners. Now, right now, yes, Cameron Dantzler and Mike Hughes are outside corners. We have Jeff Gladney at nickelback. Those are solid starters right there. But once again, Mike Hughes is going to get injured. Jeff Gladney's going to get injured. And Cameron Dantzler is going to get injured. These are three guys who were all injured this last season. Vikings, you have to keep investing on the corner position because it is just that important. Now, I know it won't have as much of an impact as drafting Rashan Slater, Christian Bourne, Quitty Pay. It won't have as much of an impact as drafting those guys, but you have to invest in the corner position because it is that important in a pass-heavy league. You have to keep getting corners until you get that lockdown corner. Now, Vikings fans, they're very high in Cameron Dantzler, and although I, too, am very excited for what I see from Cameron Dantzler and expecting great things from him, I don't think he's going to develop into a lockdown corner. He's too lengthy. He's allowed a lot of deep. Now, he was a rookie, so of course you have to cut him some slack. But once again, I don't know if Cameron is going to develop into a lockdown corner. I don't think he is. He's a good cornerback too. Mike Hughes, he's injured every season. He's been injured more games than he's been healthy. Jeff Gladney, now he's a nickelback and he can play snaps on the outside as well. You just have to invest in the corner position. And if you can get Caleb, I'm not saying trade up. I'm not saying trade up here. But if you can get Caleb Farley at the 14th overall pick and he does fall out of the top 10, assuming the 4 quarterbacks go in the top 10 and he does fall out, the Vikings can draft him at 14 and this would be huge for the team. His positional value is very high, and I understand there's players that can make bigger impact. Christian Bourne out of college will make a lot more impact with the team because of how needed of a position that is for the Vikings, and Rashan Slater as well. But once again, if the Vikings can get Caleb Farley at 14, although a lot of Vikings fans hate when they draft corners in the first round, I would be all on board with that, and I'd be excited for Caleb Farley to come and play in purple and gold. And then last, we have Gregory Rousseau. This is another player that's been mocked to the Vikings quite a bit, and I don't understand it. I mean, I don't see much first-round talent from this guy. If the Vikings can't get any of these other guys I just named at the 14th overall pick, I'd rather take a wide receiver than him. I just don't think Gregory Rousseau at the 14th overall pick would be a smart position to draft him. Now, he is a defensive end and he's a pass rusher, and this puts a lot of positional value on him because these are typically drafted in the first round. But once again, I just don't expect that to happen. So these are all the players that I think that the Vikings should be looking to draft in the 14th overall pick. Let me know what y'all think.